Well, Gods, welcome to a part of the pitch that I know very, very well. It's the bench. But as we can see here, we're at the home of the Dragons. We're at Rodney Parade. Scene of last year's final, scene of this year's final, scene of the place that you want to be at the end of the season. How are you guys going to get there?
It's the same every year. It's always going to be a challenge. We fell just short last year with the last-minute loss to Hartbury, an extra time loss actually to Hartbury, who were, I think, deserved winners in the end. They were an excellent side, but you know, another day, another season, another BUCS Super Rugby programme, and so yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Funny old season last year, sort of very up and down. Cardiff met. We didn't really know which one was going to turn up, and then, as you said, you really raised the standard for the knockouts. That quarter-final win away at Bath, so close to beating the eventual champions. So what's the alchemy? How do you get the consistency this year in the season?
Yeah, it's always a challenge. There's so many good sides in there. You know, we put in some good performances, but you're right, we were inconsistent. You know, we've done a lot in this pre-season to try to increase our physicality and try to get the players where they need to be in a physical sense, I say. So, yeah, you just don't know where you are this time of the year because it's a real challenge. And, you know, I'm sure all the directors of rugby are thinking exactly the same thing. And but you work hard, you put the time and effort in, and hopefully it'll reap rewards.
You've had a bit of turnover. You've kept some big players like BUCS Mayer, but there's a whole host of fresh talent coming in. So how's that going to shape the way that you're going to play? We're going to see a different style from Cardiff Met, or are you going to stick to your tenets that we've seen across the seasons?
Yeah, I think that you always try to evolve every year. I think there's always some things you do slightly different, and I think that while it is a large turnover of players, lots of these players played in the Prem last year, so they're not completely new to this environment, or certainly new to the Cardiff Met environment, and so you obviously go to, you know, if you've got slightly bigger ball carriers, you might go to a slightly more ball carrying game, but last year we didn't probably have so much size, so then you play around teams a little bit more, try to play around teams a little bit more, but yeah, I think, you know, you're always trying to evolve, you're always trying to develop, and you certainly can't play the way we played in the quarter final and the semi final over a season, because it was too sort of too high risk, shall we say. It's an impossible way to play like that. So you want to take elements of it, but certainly you want to sort of have the firm foundations of you know, a solid set piece and, you know, solid sort of maul game, very solid defence. So nothing really changes in rugby.
I mean, right, look, God, you've been around the block a bit. You've been on the BSR journey many, many years. Great thing about this league is we get a load of new viewers and a load of new players based on the cyclical nature of university. And Cardiff Met would be a name that they've heard. It's associated with many famous professional players. The latest, Luke Northmore, who made his England debut in the summer out in Argentina. So tell us, what is BSR about? What is at the very core of BUCS Super Rugby, and what makes it the best league in the land?
I just think it's a fantastic experience for these players. If we're honest, it's the highest level some of them will play at. You know, when you're playing on the Cardiff Clash in front of 4,500, 5,000 people, it's pretty special. Or you're playing in a quarter final or a semi final with, you know, your best mates and your family all there watching, and this, you know, where everybody's they're rooting for you. It's a fantastic occasion. Or whether it's just on Rugby One, where, you know, you get huge crowds every Wednesday, you know, chanting the names and things like that. It's a fantastic.
They chant a few other things as well.
Yeah, they do chant a few other things. You're right. But and so from that, it's a fantastic opportunity. And while it's certainly not a professional league, you try to make it as professional as possible in the environment as well. So, you know, the full time, the pre-season they're doing at the moment is pretty much full time, and they have the same provision as what a professional club would have. So you're giving those players that opportunity, and potentially then to give them that opportunity to have an idea what it's like at the next level. And if they are good enough and they're committed enough and they're good enough, then it gives them a chance to maybe push on and do what Luke Northmore did and play for England recently.
Well, can't wait to see what Cardiff Met do, and we can't wait to see who the next archer is to gain international honours.
We'd love to see. Thanks, Joe.